All right. Well, big album dropped this week. Travis Scott, Utopia. Fawxy, you had never listened to Travis Scott much before this, had you?
No, I'd only heard Sicko Mode, and I only liked it because of the part where it slows down and gets all cool sounding.
Well, that's about what I got out of Utopia. Now, keep in mind, I've kind of, listened to Rodeo, listened to Astro World, but I never really enjoyed either of those. And he has plenty of collabs with people I like, from Toro y Moi to SZA, and he has a lot of dope features, and Schoolboy Q, had dope features over the years, but I feel like Travis Scott kind of took off after my time. And I get the point, I get the aesthetic, but there's something about him. I don't know if it's that he was with Kylie Jenner, and he's like more of a pop star. There's just something about him where it's like I can't vibe with this dude.
It feels really privileged. Like you haven't worked for your rap career. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's how it
Exactly.
feels. Like, oh, cool, you're basically a Kardashian. Fuck
Exactly.
off.
Exactly. And for me, the artists who I resonate with the most with, I've witnessed their whole come up. From like a Jay Worthy or a Ramirez, and people who are in my car every day. Like the Shoreline Mafias. When it comes to rap, if I gotta, and also I'm a big rap along with it guy, and just like with Utopia, it's not that type of music. Now, here's what I will tell you though. Hold on, we're gonna add a little bit more to this description. So
Janine said, "Me either. He didn't get the bumps and bruises qualify to be in the club for me."
here, sorry to drop my thought midway, but about Travis Scott Utopia, I felt that the production was good, but it's literally good. It's good music. Get it? Like it's Kanye. It's literally he's like him and whoever produces were like in the studio together. Like, okay, let's take all the Kanye drum patterns and sound effects kits from Life of Pablo on no from Yeezus onward, and we're just gonna do a whole Travis Scott album with all these beats Kanye threw away.
Yeah, we're just gonna recycle this and not really put much into this, but it's gonna feel like a lot.
Jordan Wright, Slurp Goddess, what up, y'all? I see you guys. All right, but yeah. What else did I have on Utopia? Yeah, and then the auto tune. There's definitely some hard songs on here, but I feel like he makes music for people who move to LA and not people who are from LA. And he's a Houston artist, but you know what? I do think like it's kind of like a trinity. It's like Kanye, Kid Cudi, Travis Scott. But and then there's probably a kid who's 5 to 10 years younger than me, and the things that Kid Cudi did for me in high school, that's what Travis Scott is doing for him. And I just feel like Travis Scott makes the music for people who like new things and just don't necessarily like good things. Like they got the newest sneakers out, they got the Supreme hoodie, like the hype beasts.
Well, and also, those same people, they don't really like Kid Cudi. They call him Mid Cudi. Have you ever heard that?
I sure haven't. I'll slap the shit out of somebody who says Mid Cudi.
I know.
Oh,
like,
no,
what?
no.
Behave, you fucking don't
We won't.
even know.
We won't be having any of that now. No.
Well, there's just a lot of like just the talk around Travis Scott and the Houston Police Department on the day that Utopia dropped. Also dropped like the investigation details about the Astro World tragedy, and I think also that the Astro World tragedy is partially why I have such a bad taste. Obviously, and it's like that Kardashian privilege that he kind of got away with this tragedy and really didn't do anything to like fix what had happened.
To me, that just sounds so haterific of the Houston PD to do that. But like, it is kind of like, a sobering reminder that, this did happen. And although it wasn't at his hand, obviously, it wasn't like Travis and his team's fault. It kind of sounds like venue security is kind of the one to blame. But
right. Well, and Live Nation, which we've talked about. And so are we just gonna kind of just touch on Utopia in this conversation?
Let's get to some songs that stood out off of Utopia. Modern Jam was kind of fire, and that had a lot of Kanye production. I like the crazy ass auto tune flow he had on My Eyes. Meltdown featuring Six, featuring Drake was kind of like, they say that's a Pusha T and Pharrell diss, but I couldn't really pick up on that. The song Fiend, like Fiend, Fiend, Fiend was like low-key so bad it was good. And then the same little like drum kick, the same little drum from Kanye West Good Morning they reused. And then Delestro featuring Beyonce. I'm like, Travis Scott and Beyonce. Never thought we'd see this one.
Well, right, and that's like what I again like. Well, it's just interesting. The whole thing is just interesting. Like Beyonce on this, out of everything, we hear Beyonce on this track, and it was like my favorite actually out of everything that I listened to off of this album. It had like that dreamy sound, like deeply experimental. But it's like that brand music. It's like all of these songs that I listened to for the most part, they made my brain feel really overstimulated.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is, as like a neurodivergent person, I hear that shit in both of my ears individually at the same time. And if I can't keep up with the music and it makes me kind of start feeling like sick. And so kind of how it like made me feel was like, oh man, this is probably why shit was even worse at Astro World because it's this type of music. Because a lot of people were like having seizures and stuff too, and I could see how the lights with the sound and everything could have been really
Yeah.
like inducing a lot of like panic and symptoms like seizures and things like that alone. So I hate it.
Wow.
I hate. I'm sorry, guys. Hate is a strong word, but I will use it. I did
And
not enjoy
at
it.
points of this, I'm like, Dylan, just stop hating, man. You like just admit it. He's dope. Just admit it. This sounds kind of cool. But like at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I'm an underdog, and the guy, the Gen Z is gonna. I sound like an old motherfucker now, but the guy that Gen Z is gonna be dick riding so hard, I'm just never gonna go for. And keep, keep in mind for the reasons we already said, is just like we're just not really feeling him. Topia Twins with 21 Savage, you know what? They have good chemistry on that song, but I didn't hear a bar off of that was original. And then I don't know what it is with him on Spotify not crediting the artist who featured. That was the same reason I didn't like Donda. And for what it's worth, this is Donda all over
Donda
again. This
part
is just like,
2.
it's kind of creative to hear like all this spare Kanye West production. He just kind of took off and did his own thing with it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, this is what Travis Scott typically sounds like. Just
Right. Next
Travis.
thing you know, he's gonna have those recycled Yeezys and
I'll
add
give
some
it.
new souls to
I
them.
would give this the strongest 3.8 to 3.9, like on the cusp of a 4. Like I might listen to a couple songs off here again, but other than that, it was exactly, Matt. It was okay, but it was
Okay,
not
not
great.
great.
All right.
Yeah.
It's the beatbox, baby.